All right, guys, thank you for joining me on this short video. We are looking at why you should start learning GitLab CICD. Jenkins has been a great tool so far for continuous integration and for continuous development, but the truth is organizations are beginning to move their workloads from Jenkins into GitLab CICD or GitHub Actions. Why do you need to start learning GitLab CICD? Number one, your Jenkins deals with a lot of plugins, right? So which means you have a lot of plugins to manage. Now, if you look at this place where my mouse is, it shows me that I have 18 plugins, all right, that are available for update. Now, in a production environment, updates are not something that you want to do, regularly, all right, especially for your base system, because that can cause a lot of breakage and a lot of issues, all right, with your pipeline. That's number one. Now, number two, Jenkins, some of these plugins are dependent on individuals and organizations who have volunteered, all right, to develop these plugins. Now, if you go to manage plugins from here, you would realize that a lot of these plugins are, things that people have contributed, right? So if I go to available plugins, for example, and then search for, let's say, Docker, maybe I need a Docker plugin for my pipeline, for example. Now, if you look at that plugin, it tells me that the plugin is off for adoption, so which means perhaps the person that is developing or the organization developing it, they are about to, move on to other things. So they need somebody else to take it up. All right. So what if somebody does not take it up and then my pipeline is dependent on those plugins? What will happen, all right, to that pipeline? So you need to consider that as well. So organizations, for some of these reasons, are moving away from Jenkins to GitLab CI/CD. Now let's take your focus again from to GitLab, and let's see why GitLab CI/CD is becoming an increasingly important skill for a DevOps engineer to have, or a knowledge that you need to add to what you already have. Now, this is a GitLab Python application project. All right. And then from here, you can see GitLab. So which means I can also, from this application, create a pipeline that should run, all right, my CI/CD for me. And, one of the important things about GitLab CI/CD is that all of these things integrate together, right? Which means your source code is in the same place, all right? And then from that same place where your source code is, you can also run a CI/CD pipeline. So which means there are no need, all right, for external tools, all right. You don't need to install any plugin, you don't need to install any third-party tool in order for you to build and run a successful or an efficient pipeline, right? All you need to do is to have your code within GitLab, and within that same environment, you can run or write your GitLab pipeline. So here, if you click on the pipeline, you will see the pipeline that I ran, so which means I built a pipeline that took a source code, all right, packaged it into a Docker image, and then pushed the Docker image into, all right, the Docker hub, and then from Docker hub, I deployed that same, application to Amazon EC2 instance. So if I click on any of the pipelines here, all right, you will see that, this is the stage test, and then the stage here is build, and then the stage here is, all right, deploy. And in terms of credentials as well, if I need to put in any variables, maybe my SSH credentials in order to authenticate with my Amazon EC2, it's pretty simple. All I need to do is to go to settings, and then I go to CICD from here. And then if I scroll down, I will find a place where you have variables, and it tells you the variables store information like password, secret keys, and all this kind of stuff. So if I need to connect with any external system outside of GitLab, all I need to do is to come to variables, expand it, and then from here I can start adding my variables. All right, so that's why you need to start learning GitLab CI/CD. Hope that helps. See you in the next video.